Have you been told you need to stop doing what you love, whether it's exercise, running, or a sport? Well, here at Dynamic, we don't like that answer. In this podcast, we'll talk to leaders in the health and wellness space from Southwest Florida to get the solutions you need to get you back to doing what you love. Welcome to the Dynamic Naples Podcast. Just want to jump on today solo style and talk about something quickly. Low back pain, so super common in physical therapy. I want to talk about three simple things you can do to kind of ease back pain on your own. So the very first thing is to take care of some of the symptoms, so desensitize. This kind of ties into pain science. I did a whole episode called Pain Does Not Equal Damage. So first, let's talk about what pain is. Pain is the nervous system giving you a warning signal, in a sense. So something's happened to your low back. Maybe you've overused it, or maybe you irritated a joint or something. You know, that's not to say there's definitely damage. It's just, basically your back is saying, hey, pay attention to this area. So it's become sensitized to that region. So what you can do to address it is desensitize it. Basically give the nervous system a different input to that area. So that could be massage. That could be one of those massage like vibrating guns. It could be Bengay. It could be percussion. There's a lot of ways, foam rolling. There's a lot of different things you could do just to give different stimulus to, let's just say the muscles of the back or the hip. Sometimes back pain is really hip pain. So especially right on top of your pelvis, that the top of your glute is very prone to getting irritated. You can get something firm like a lacrosse ball and kind of roll on that area. And the whole idea here is spend a couple of minutes just addressing the tissue. The nervous system basically recognizes that nothing bad happened, and it has an effect of calming the area down. It might not relieve it completely, but you're going to get a reduction in symptoms. So that's step one, desensitize. Step two, this one might sound a little silly, but breathe. Okay, so spend maybe 5 minutes a day working on some deep breathing. So I would recommend inhale through nose, exhale through mouth twice as long, and picture your torso like a Coca-Cola, a can of Coke, right? It's a 3D structure that expands and contracts. So expanding Coke can. Okay, maybe a weird analogy, but I think you get the point. So let your whole abdomen rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. So what this does is three things. So deep breathing, I should say four things, really clears your lungs. So you tend to have some dead air that sits in your lungs. So it's good to get some of that out and get some good oxygenation into your tissues. So that's one thing it does. And it does perfusion. So all your muscles and joints, they need oxygen to thrive. So that long exhale basically builds up CO2, and then you push it off, and then oxygen's delivered faster to everywhere, to your whole body, basically. The other thing it does is it basically, especially if you focus on that long exhale, it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. So you have two parts of your autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is your sort of fight or flight response. That's where many of us kind of live throughout the day. We're just, caffeinated, stressed, driving through traffic, just sort of in sympathetic mode. So we very rarely take time out of our day to kind of turn all that off to the sort of rest and digest system, the parasympathetic system. That's the calming system. So, there's a lot of ways to do that. Massage also does that. Walking out in the woods will do that. Deep breathing will do that. These are all relaxation techniques. Pain really thrives in a sympathetic zone. Parasympathetic has an ability to sort of turn off some of those pain signals. And the fourth thing that deep breathing will do is actual mechanical movements. So you're getting, as you inhale, your spine will kind of flex, and as you exhale, it'll tend to extend. And you're getting basically non-painful movement, non-threatening movement of the spine with each inhale and exhale, which also sends feedback to your nervous system. So it kind of goes back to that first point, so that desensitizing nature of the pain. And then the third thing you can do is actually move. So, many people's response to pain is usually rest it. Don't move. That's not what you want to do. That kind of make things worse. You just get stiffer, tighter. You're not changing anything. So I don't recommend resting. I recommend pain-free, non-threatening movement. So usually with the back, you're going to find that certain movements bother you and certain movements make you feel better. Let's take a couple examples here. So some pathologies tend to do better with flexion and some do better with extension. So flexion is bending over, touching your toes. That's spinal flexion. Extension is leaning back like you're doing the limbo. Limbo? Yeah. So flexion, if you have some joint-related pain, is going to basically open up your spine and kind of feel nice on the joints. Whereas extension, like leaning back, that's going to irritate the joints, or if you have spinal stenosis, it's also going to kind of provoke that. So with a herniated disc, it's just the opposite. And this is why I always say don't Google back pain exercises, because it totally depends on what's going on. So extension is going to usually feel better on a disc, whereas flexion, if you bend over, touch your toes, on a herniated disc, it's not going to feel too good. So first explore what kind of movements feel good and feel bad. Avoid the painful ones, and then do the non-painful ones. So maybe you have a little spinal stenosis going on, and maybe you lift something overhead, and you provoked the back. Do some flexion-based exercises. That could be like doing a sit-up, or even laying on your back and putting a ball underneath your heels and bring your knees towards your chest. That's spinal flexion. That's usually going to reduce pain and kind of just get some non-painful movement through the system. So what do you do if both bending forward and leaning back bother you? Because sometimes you can have a herniated disc and some spinal issue, like joint-related issues going on as well. Well, that's where you might want to spend some time in a neutral position. So that could be like a plank. You're just in a neutral position. You're getting some tension through the body, so your muscles are working, which means blood's going to the area. But you're not provoking one direction or the other. Now, that's not to say, I want to be careful of this. A lot of people think that once you have a back injury, you have to kind of stay in this neutral position. You always have to lift with a perfectly straight back and all that. The idea is you maybe when you're in an acute phase of pain, you have to stay in neutral temporarily. And then as the pain eases, then you can start getting some actual spinal motion. You want spinal motion. You want the muscles to be strong around the spine. So you do want to train those things. It just might be in the acute phase. Maybe neutral is all you can tolerate. So you're really going to go based off your symptoms. Go with pain. You're trying to avoid pain in these acute phases. I also just want to address stretching. So, I get this question a lot. I've got back pain. What type of stretches should I do? Well, let me just start off by saying that stretches rarely do the job. They rarely fix anything. Stretching is to improve range of motion if you're missing range of motion in a joint. Now, it may be that you're missing some ankle range of motion, for example, and that changes how you squat or, get out of a car or get out of a seat. Okay, so in that case, stretching to fix your range of motion so that you perform that movement better down the road, that's something, but that's not going to get you out of back pain. All right, so stretching very rarely alleviates anything. If anything, you want to focus on muscle activation and strengthening. So that's your goal. Focus on strength, not stretching. Of course, that's when you're out of the pain phase. All right, so there you have it. There's 3 simple things you can do. Desensitize the area with some type of massage. It could be self-massage or going to actually get a massage. Breathe, and then non-painful movement. That will usually get you over the hump of those initial pain phases. So the date is August 19th, 2021. I'm going to do a call to action right now. If you're having back pain, I'm offering through the month from now to the month of September free evaluations for any low back pain patients. All I have to do is mention this podcast, and I'll do a free evaluation. So if this is you've got back pain, it's recurrent, you want to get rid of it and also keep it from coming back, go right to my website, dynamicnaples.com, scroll to the bottom where it says book an appointment. You can book directly online, and then when I talk to you on the phone, because I'll call everybody that books an appointment, you just mention this podcast, and you get a free evaluation. All right? I look forward to hearing from you. Do you have unexplained pain? Or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT20 for 20% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT20. Did you know that you can get started with physical therapy without a physician's referral? Physical therapists don't just solve pain, we get down to the root cause and keep it from coming back. We also discuss all things health, such as nutrition and lifestyle changes. If you feel that you could use some help, let's get on a free consult call. Go to www.dynamicnaples.com and sign up for a free call. Also, if you like this podcast, please give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us spread the message. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.